Carol mentioned that she had some women bosses in her life. Well, I have a wife and 2 daughters, and I know what that's like, Carol. So we consider ourselves a mission-driven company, and our mission is healthier, better lives through food. And I guess there was a corollary to that my dad had, and he always said, never think about yourself, always think of others. And when we do that, the others we think of are young people who need help. And so that's something I inherited from my dad. Back in 1964, there were 2 race riots in America. One was in Detroit. The other is from Rochester, New York, and that's where we're from. So we've had severe racial problems, minority problems, as Hispanic population has grown in Rochester. And in 1986, the mayor of Rochester challenged us to help the graduation rate in Rochester. It was in the 30s. So my father had a couple objectives. One was to raise the graduation rate. 2, our stores were not in the city because our stores were too big. And so we had a hard time hiring minorities. And then since we didn't hire that many minorities, we had a hard time having a minority workforce. So the 3 goals we had was to raise the graduation rate in the city, to hire minorities, and to keep minorities. Now, what we knew was that if folks would come and work at Wegmans and did well in the job. Now, we hire 15 and 16-year-olds as a rule. That's what we do. And so we knew that if kids did well for us, that they would do well in school. We'd started a scholarship program back in 1982, so we would argue with the folks who read our kids' credentials to go to college that they should accept these kids because we knew they were good. So we felt that if they came, if we could get minorities to come and work for us, that they would do well in school. That was our whole program. But we started off with 30 kids. Now these kids weren't the top of the class. All 30 were predicted to drop out of school. And I said to my dad, Dad, why are we doing this? We're a proud company. We believe in success, we believe in high standards, and we're going to tackle kids who are predicted to not make it. Nevertheless, we stayed with it. 2 years later, we graduated 24 out of the 30, 60%, 66. So it worked. What were the benefits to Wegmans? The turnover with our employees, young employees from the inner city, was 100%. That means, on average, a year. So, if it cost us $5,000 to train that employee, that was $5,000 a year. Once we started this program and the program matured, our turnover this year with young folks from the cities is 15%. That means that the kids are staying with us 7 years. So, okay, that means you eliminate the training expense for 6 years. So 6 times 5,000 is $30,000. Not a bad return. I don't know if there are any math majors around, but that's pretty good. And it costs about $20,000 for this program. So at least the economics are really there. It definitely does. Now, what do the youngsters learn? The first thing they learn is to show up. You may laugh at that. No, they don't know. Oh, I didn't make it today? Okay. Nope, that doesn't work. Second thing they learn is to be on time. Well, I'm here. No. You were supposed to be here at 3:30. The other thing, the next thing they learn is if you see something you like a nice magazine, just don't take it. It's called stealing. Work as a team. Help others, they'll help you. Teamwork. And the toughest thing of all is to teach young folks, when someone comes through your line as a cashier and they're rude to you, you don't be rude back. Now that behavior doesn't work in many parts of the world. And we know that. You have to stand up for yourself. But in our store, in the checkout line, you have to figure out, how do I take that person who's having a bad day and have them leave with a smile on their face? And that's the hardest thing for our young people to learn. And they do it. The aha moment is when they see that they can do their job better than the folks that don't have the same problems they do. They're all of a sudden the star. I am good. They see this. Numbers count. They learn math skills because they see how the math skills are used. They're used on the job every day. They want to learn. And that's what makes a difference. They learn how to express themselves very well, because the kids who can express themselves the best get a job selling and sampling food and talking to customers and helping customers. And guess what? They love it. They're off the front end, so they earn their way off the front end through the skills that they learned. Most of all, they learn that they can do anything. They can be a success at Wegmans. If they don't want to stay at Wegmans, they can be a success wherever they go. For over 5 years, I've been involved in economic development in Western New York. What's that about? Jobs, jobs, jobs. Now, there are a lot of folks with college degrees, and there's a lot of discussion about the community college degrees where you learn skills and you have advanced manufacturing jobs where you don't need a 4-year degree or something like this. But one of the things I've come to notice is that the food industry, which is what obviously I've spent my life in, doesn't require all of these skills, because you can learn them as you go. Whether it's growing food, and we have our own organic farm, so we're very familiar with that. Whether we're retailing food, which is what we do as a primary business, whether we're preparing food, whether we're running restaurants. And many of the restaurant chefs begin washing dishes. So you don't need the intellectual skills in our business, many parts of it. Can you use them? Yes. And if you get excited and you want to learn more, that's great. But we are an entry-level job for many, many folks. Can I redefine entry-level job, please? What it really means is first job. You don't get a second job if you didn't have that first job. And we are a great place for it. And you don't realize that all the time. We keep looking for these lofty goals. Again, what do you learn on that first job? You learn to be on time, you learn to be reliable, you learn to be trustworthy, you learn teamwork. In many ways, this means more than a degree, but it can lead to a degree. What about graduation rates? Today in Rochester, the overall graduation rate is still less than 50%. With the Kids in Work Scholarship, last year it was 83%. Not bad. How about Prince George's County? We began with 220 students in 2012. Today we have nearly 700. By 2018, we'll have 1,000. Not us, it's you folks. The funding is about 50% between private and public. That's terrific. Graduation rate so far? 95%, over 95. Wow, huh? From the 30 students we started with in 1987, There are now 4,000 students, more than 4,000 in Work Scholarship Connection. The Hillside employees at Wegmans in Prince George's County, in 2011, we had 6. Today, we have 39. 19 are alumni from either our store in Prince George's County or from other stores around our chain. 2 of our assistant managers, we have 4 assistant managers, are Work Scholarship Connections students. That's a really good job, folks. We have 2 department managers, too. These folks aren't just there doing beginning jobs. They're growing, they're learning. They're knocking it out of the park. Prince George's County is a shining star. Why? It's basically a self-sufficient in helping young people in need. It's absolutely amazing how you folks work together. We run this program in Buffalo, New York, in Rochester, New York, and Syracuse, New York. We have nothing like your cooperation anywhere. Everyone fights, everyone disagrees, everyone points fingers. You folks are doing this. I'm so proud. Each year, Wegmans contributes over $5 million to Work Scholarship. Since 1986, we've contributed over $80 million for young students, trying to help them. We certainly can't do it alone. I applaud Venture Partners and Carol Thompson Cole for the work she's done to help young people. If more people saw the world like Carol, we would have a very different world. Thank you very much.